Hi there, and welcome to Life by Lou. We're going to go ahead and get started on our hour of listening, prayer, and meditation. It actually might be under an hour, but the whole point was to set aside an hour of your day to be able to make space to hear from your Creator and also to connect with Him as the Prince of Peace and to hear from Him because His sheep hear His voice and they know His voice. So really, I'm just going to guide you through a time of listening, prayer, and meditation. If you can look over to the comments, it should be on the right side of your screen, but maybe yours is different. You'll see I've put a link in there. I encourage you to open up a new tab on your browser and open up this YouTube link. It is just some meditation music. It's some really lovely music that can help your brain to not tend to dart all over the place. And so I'm going to give you some time to go ahead and do that and get past the ads that often play first. And then we'll go ahead and get started. So open up that music and go ahead and press play. It should last the duration of our time together today. So this is based off of we are connecting to Jesus Christ as our source. However, if you're not a Christian or you're not sure where you are at in your faith, this is an excellent tool for you to get to know who is this Jesus, who we claim to be God. So absolutely open, even if you're just trying to understand and discern who is God. So let's go ahead and get started. If you don't have the luxury of sitting on your lovely bed as I do, then just go ahead and find yourself a place where your back can rest comfortably and you can sit directly over your hips. And so what I mean by that is we want our pelvis to be straight, so not leaning one way or the other way. And I like to sit cross-legged like so, but if that's not fun for you, then don't sit that way. Find a way that you're not going to be distracted by your body's positioning, okay? And so I want you to align your spine, which means sit in a way that your spine is aligned bone by bone by bone on top of itself, because that's how God created our spines to be. So once your spine is sitting in alignment, you're sitting straight up, sitting over your hips as opposed to curving behind your hips. I want you to allow your neck to also align with your spine, and your chin is parallel with the ground, and your neck is sitting in the position where it was created to. Go ahead and allow your eyes to close. Roll back your shoulders. Potentially you're holding some tension in your shoulders, so just give them a nice roll back. Move your head to the right, to the left. If there's any tension anywhere in your head, neck, or shoulders, go slower. We're going to start by focusing on our breath, okay? So I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you breathe in through your nose, imagine that your lungs are expanding in a 360-degree balloon, filling your rib cage to the right and to the left, front, and back. And as you exhale, your spine is actually elongating and it's pulling, like there's a string, pulling your head upwards. So focus on getting that breath down in through your nose, expanding your lungs into your rib cage, and out through your mouth, elongating your spine. In through your nose. We want to master our breath. Breath is what God chose to breathe into us to give us life. Us controlling our breath is as important as us controlling our bodies, because our breath controls our bodies. So as you breathe in through your nose, I want you to count to 4. And as you breathe out through your mouth, breathe out for 6 counts. So you're breathing in for less counts than you're breathing out. So count to yourself 4 as you breathe in through your nose, and count out for 6 counts as you exhale through your mouth. Any thoughts that are intrusive, like I'm doing this wrong, or I've already messed up, I want you to practice rejecting those thoughts and just flicking them out of your brain and bringing your concentration back to the breath that God gave you to make your body move. Focus on the inhale and the exhale of your breath that actually cleanses your body. As you continue focusing on your breathing, just listen to my voice and agree. Choose to agree. Grace. Today, you are going to have grace with yourself. So, any moment that your mind wanders off of what you're meant to be focusing on, you're going to have grace on yourself and gently pull your mind right back to where it's meant to go, knowing that that's the grace that your Father has on you. As you breathe in, I want you to invite the Holy Spirit to come and to take control, to protect your mind, and to surrender to Him in whatever way you want. If you're alone in a quiet space, I encourage you to verbalize, Holy Spirit, you're welcome. In an act of surrender, simply open your palms and open your chest. And as you inhale, I want you to say, Holy Spirit. And as you exhale, say, I surrender. Holy Spirit, I surrender. Now, your mind is a bit like a monkey. So it'll go all over the place until you give it just a simple banana. We're going to work on giving our minds, a banana to distract it from going anywhere. But we're going to meditate on truth. So when I say give your mind a banana, all I mean is essentially it's like putting chewing gum in your mind. It's something for you to chew on and say over and over. The first name of God that we see is Elohim. So I want you to give your mind the name of God, Elohim, to just repeat and chant over and over. Elohim. Elohim. And anytime your mind wanders off of this banana, gently bring it back. And all you're focusing on is this name of God. If you're willing, I want you to imagine that you are standing before the King of Kings. You're standing before Jesus Christ. Use your eyes of faith and look upon Him. Take note. What do you see in his eyes when you look upon him? That which you see in his eyes, can you receive it from him? I want you to ask him, Jesus, how do you see me? And allow him to show you, what does he see when he looks at you. See yourself through his eyes. Now, if you're willing, I want you to, in your eyes of faith, look down in your hands and notice that you're holding a basket. Okay, in this basket lies everything that you feel separates you from Jesus, from the Creator. Allow your mind to fill up that basket with everything that separates you from the Prince of Peace. If shame, then what color is shame? What shape does it take as it fills up the basket? Allow everything that you feel separates you to fill up this basket until you are sure that it's all in the basket. When you're certain that everything is out and into this basket, I want you to extend your arms and look up. You're still standing before Jesus, and notice that his arms are extended out before you. And I want you to place this basket in his hands and take your hands away. And as you do, notice what happens to the basket and all of its contents. Does it simply dissolve and disappear? Or does he turn it into something else? Wait until you see it in your eyes of faith. Now, if you're willing, Ask Him, Jesus, what do you want to give me in return? And allow Him to answer you. Allow Him to reach out and give it to you. Can you receive it from Him? When you're ready, I want you, if you're willing, to take His hand and allow Him to walk with you. And now look down at your feet. What does the path look like that He's walking with you along? Maybe it looks like soft green grass. Maybe it feels like hard bricks. Take in the detail and allow your eyes of faith to really tune into what Holy Spirit wants to show you. And as you walk, ask Him, Jesus, where do you want to take me in order to spend time with me? And take your time, but allow Him to show you a space that He's prepared for you and Him to be together. The one who knows you best. What is that place like? As you sit in this place with Jesus, or maybe you're standing or running, I want you to draw your attention back to your breath. Can you exist in this place in your soul with Jesus and allow your body to respond by controlling your breath in through your nose and out through your mouth? In your eyes of faith, can you imagine what it would feel like for the Holy One to place His hand on your chest lovingly and match the rhythms of your breath with His? How amazing would that feel? Would that be? Feel free to place your own hands on your chest. And now allow Jesus to take your hand again and walk you to a garden. It's his garden. And in your eyes of faith, can you see, what does the grass look like? Allow yourself to smile, imagining, what do the flowers look like? How's the weather? Can you smell anything? What are you hearing? As you walk through this garden, he leads you to a tree. This tree is familiar. You know this tree. This is the tree of the Spirit of God. And on it are all the fruits of the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against all of these things, there is no law. In eyes of faith, can you allow Jesus to reach up into the tree and pick one of these fruits down? And without any judgment of your own, will you receive that fruit? And as soon as he places that fruit in your hand, you know which one it is. Which fruit is it? Is it love? Is it joy that Jesus wants to give you? Is it peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, or self-control? If you're willing, take a bite into this fruit. What does it taste like? What does it do to your body as you consume this fruit of the Spirit? Now imagine that this fruit of the Spirit begins to rain down on you from heaven. But the rain is like honey. It's warm. It moves really slowly. It's thick and it's sticky. Allow this fruit to begin at the crown of your head and slowly it melts down over your forehead, releasing any tension you've been holding in your forehead. Smoothly it goes over your eyebrows, over your eyes, over your nose. Slowly it covers your ears. It drips over your lips, down over your chest and your shoulders. Slowly it drips down over your arms, And everywhere it passes over your body, it releases this fruit of the Spirit and it relaxes your muscles. Allow it to flow over your whole body until you're saturated. God's love drips like honey from the top of your head down to your toes. And as you receive this like honey from heaven, meditate on this truth. God gives you the fruit of love. Now, I want you to repeat to yourself that sentence, but with the fruit that Jesus specifically gave you. So, if the fruit he gave you was self control, then I want you to meditate on God gives me, say it, actively receive it from the Father. Spend some time working this out. If you struggle to focus, just remember the Lord gives strength to his people. He blesses his people with peace. And just flick out the opposing thoughts. You've got this. Return your focus back to your breath as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Allow yourself to be back in that garden with Jesus. Look back in his eyes. What do you see in his face when he looks at you? It's okay if you don't have a mental image. What thought pops into your head? Guided by the Holy Spirit, what does Jesus see? What is the look on his face when he looks at me? Receive these words. Death is swallowed up forever. The Lord and King has wiped away the tears from everyone's face. He will save you. That will bring you joy like water that is brought up from wells. Look around this garden that you're in and see that just to your right, there is a well in the ground. Can you lower a bucket down into that well? and fill that bucket up with water and pull the bucket up out of the well. And with the help of Jesus, can you take a drink from this bucket? He will bring you joy like water that is brought up from wells. As you drink, can you inhale into your lungs, I receive. And as you exhale, your joy. I receive your joy. Continue to repeat this until you truly feel you have received his joy, like drinking water from a well. What does joy feel like as water going through your body? As you drink joy, what does that do to your body? How does it refresh you like water on a hot day? How does your body feel different when you receive this joy? If you're willing, ask, Jesus, what brings you joy? And allow him to answer you. Jesus, what brings you joy? If you're willing, ask him, Jesus, how does my life bring joy to others? Allow him to show you. The veil of sadness that covers all the nations has been destroyed. And you are standing with the one who destroyed that veil. As you stand with him, what way would you like to worship him? How do you show gratitude to Jesus when you're able to be with him? Allow your eyes of faith to see you doing that. Now, if you're willing, ask him, Jesus, how do you like to spend time with me? How did you create us to spend time together? And allow him to do that with you, to show you, and to enjoy being together. When you're ready, look at Jesus and repeat these words, even just in your heart, from the book of Isaiah. You have been a place to hide when storms came. You have been a shade from the heat of the sun. You have been a place to hide when storms came. You have been a shade from the heat of the sun. Now ask him, Jesus, will you show me a time in my life when I was hiding in you? And allow him to draw it up from your memory. Can you see a time in your life when Jesus was truly hiding you? His arms around you flood you with peace. A peaceful heart gives life to the body. Draw your attention back to your breath. And as you inhale through your nose, repeat, I receive and exhale your protection. Slowly inhale, I receive, and on the exhale, your protection. Repeat this as you breathe in and out, and allow your eyes of faith to see what it looks like to have His arms around you. In His presence, there is fullness of joy. Can you agree with this by telling Him in your heart or out loud, Jesus, in your presence, there is fullness of joy. And as you stand before Jesus, ask Him, Jesus, show me a place where I can return to really focus on being with you. Give yourself time to hear from Him and to see through eyes of faith. Don't pressure yourself. Allow yourself to see through His eyes and let Him answer. Jesus, show me a place where I can return to be with you and focus. Let Him build it out for you. In this place, allow Jesus to set a banquet table before you, whatever that may look like. Have Him teach you about the things that are on the banquet table. What do you see? On Mount Zion, the Lord who rules over all will prepare a feast for all the nations. The best and richest foods and the finest aged wines will be served. Jesus, what do you want to show me about this truth? that you are preparing a feast for the nations with the best and richest foods and the finest aged wines. Allow him to speak. Return your focus back to your breath. And as you inhale deeply, say, I receive. And as you exhale, repeat, your food. I receive your food. Continue to repeat. Now, as you inhale, repeat, I refuse, and exhale the bread of toil. I refuse the bread of toil. And repeat. Now, if you're willing, allow Jesus to walk you from that garden or wherever you are with him back into, slowly, the room where you are currently seated. And he walks into the room and you can see yourself seated. And you realize that he's been here all along. He has never left nor forsaken you. He is ever present. And you are seated on rest. You allow yourself to be wrapped in his arms right where you're seated right now. And as he wraps his arms around you, what does he give you? What do you feel? Can you receive that from him until you are full to the brim? And when you're certain that he is with you, you are full and he will not leave you. When you have received that as true, place your hands on your legs, on your knees, and slowly drum your fingers, bringing energy back into your hands. Next, wiggle your toes around, bringing energy back into your legs. Wiggling your knees around your hips. Roll your shoulders back and forward in a circle. Your neck to the left and to the right. And give thanks to God for being so willing to meet with us and allow us to experience him on every level which he created us. And whenever you're ready, allow your eyes to slowly flutter open, full of the peace of Jesus, the Prince of Peace. Well, feel free to stay and just be as long as you want. But I bless you, and I pray that you come back to this time with him every day, as long as he desires. Bless you guys.